Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? Good. As Matt said, my name is Chris Lanning, and I'm running to be your next Solicitor General here in Cobb County. Just by way of background, so everyone knows, I'm a lifelong Cobb County resident. My wife and I both grew up in the Acworth, Kennesaw area. Graduated from North Cobb High School. Went to the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. I don't know if we should be shutting the legislature down tomorrow, but I am going to be watching the game. And we currently reside in Powder Springs. So my wife and I live there with our two small children. A son, William, who hopefully is watching at home right now and will be thrilled that he heard his name. William is 6, and my daughter Caroline is 3. For the last 14 years, going into my 15th year of practice, I have been a prosecutor in this county. I've been a prosecutor in the Solicitor General's office and in the District Attorney's office. The better part of that time has been in the Solicitor's office. I started out working in our traffic court division, handling just, when you think of traffic court, tickets, things like that. That's what I did for the first few years. I moved into our jury trial division shortly thereafter. I spent a year working in the District Attorney's office, handling armed robberies, tried a murder case with who is now Judge Ann Harris. We tried that case together and decided after that that I preferred the work of misdemeanors. I could have more of an impact on the community, working back doing misdemeanor work. So I came back into the Solicitor General's office, where I have served as the Deputy Chief Assistant, and the last 4 years I have served as the Chief Assistant Solicitor General, so the number 2 in command at the office for the last 4 years. And in that time I've had an opportunity to essentially run the office on a day-to-day basis. Those management level positions, we have an office that's around 75 people that we work with, and that includes lawyers, it includes non-lawyers, victim witness advocates, post-certified, sworn law enforcement officers, and just general support staff that help us do the work of the people. For the average person, and why this position is so important and what everyone has to know, in some years this office has handled up to 180,000 cases a year, individual cases that come through the door. Traffic offenses, ordinance violations, DUIs, domestic violence offenses, all the way up to something as serious as some cases of vehicular homicide can actually come through the Solicitor General's office. For the average person, the most likely way that you will have contact with the court system is going to be in the Solicitor General's office, just by sheer volume of cases, which is why it's imperative that you have someone in this position that understands that people that come in the court system, they're not just a number. It is important that everyone that comes through the doors you treat with dignity, courtesy, and respect. A long time ago, I heard someone tell me that when you're doing prosecution work, you have to draw a distinction between the people that you're mad at and the people that you're afraid of. Right? And frankly, in the Solicitor General's office, we don't handle many cases with people that we're afraid of. You handle cases that are your neighbors, handle cases that are your friends down the road. Those are the things that you see the majority of the time. And you have to treat those cases accordingly. What you have to do, if you have cases where someone that you're afraid of, we have to handle those. You deal with those, you prosecute those. Justice is doing whatever the right thing is on every case that comes before you. There's no set pattern. It's not one size fits all. It's looking at each set of facts, each case that you have in front of you, and it's deciding what the right thing to do is on that case. That's what I've done my entire 14 years here. Starting last year, with the support of the current Solicitor General, we started a domestic violence unit in our office. We started a domestic violence unit. And what we did is it allows us that every domestic violence case that comes through our office, we have a dedicated team of prosecutors and support staff folks that look at those cases, and they make a determination on what needs to happen with each of those. Some of those cases may be eligible for some type of pretrial diversion program. We have a process that we go through on those for the less serious cases. And those cases may be offered counseling to get a dismissal on their charges if the victim wants to go along with that. If they look appropriate, we do that. Some of those cases, though, that unit will keep those cases if fully prosecuting those is what's necessary. As a prosecutor's office, we can believe in public safety, and we can also believe in social justice and doing the right thing on individual cases. And that's what I've done in my time as your Chief Assistant Solicitor General. We've used accountability courts. We have a DUI court that's been operational in Cobb County for almost 11 years that we're fully supportive of for those multiple offenders on DUIs. Those are cases that are dangerous. They're not bad people, but they may make bad decisions that ultimately put the public in danger, and we need to be able to address those cases. And one of the ways we do that is with our accountability courts. We also prosecute those cases. Again, if someone doesn't want to be involved in a program like that, then we have the ability to prosecute those cases through the normal prosecution track as well. But in addition to doing those things, we can support public safety, but we can support social justice as well. We can support doing right things. In my time as chief assistant, we've increased opportunities for our diversion programs, made first-time nonviolent offenders, given them more opportunities, allowed more charges to become eligible for that program so that we can do that, and those people cannot be defined by what was a bad decision. Since I've done this, like I said, we've increased the number of cases that are eligible in those programs. When I'm your next Solicitor General, I want to extend upon that. I want to increase opportunities for diversion for first-time and nonviolent offenders, juvenile offenders. We've determined over the years, and I've worked personally hands-on with the Georgia Justice Project, working on bills with record restriction, helping them when they go to the legislature to work on doing things that are going to help people clear up their records, get back to work, and make a difference. Records have the ability to keep people from getting jobs, housing, educational loans, things like that. We have to address those. As a Solicitor General, you have the ability to do that. I've taken the first step. I'm personally responsible for every record restriction application that comes through the Solicitor General's office. I review every one, and in any possible way where we can sign off on a record restriction to allow someone to clear their record, if the law allows it, I support it. There are additional things that we can do going forward that I intend to do with our diversion program to make record sealing an automatic part of our diversion program as well. Record restriction, it doesn't end there. Record restriction does not help people keep courthouse records. Everyone in this room might have heard the term record restriction or expungement. That is not the end of it. That clears up your official criminal history. It doesn't close public record loopholes and things like that. There's additional steps that have to be taken. I intend to make those steps an automatic part of our diversion program. So if we believe you can do diversion, we believe you're eligible for those programs, then we also believe you get the benefit of closing all those loopholes, making sure you can get back to work, you're not held up from doing those things, and that one mistake doesn't define you going forward. As a prosecutor's office, we can do that. We can support public safety. We can also make sure we're doing the right things like that. And I've done those things. I've worked with the current district attorney, D.A. Brody, who was my trial partner in the solicitor's office for some time. We've supported him with the Second Chance Desk Initiative. I'm our office's representative for that. We're going to continue to do that, be even more involved in that. And at the end of the day, I hope to be your next Solicitor General here in Cobb County. My website, chrisforcobb.com. Pretty easy. Please check us out there. Check out our Facebook page, and I'd be happy to take any questions. 20-minute stump speech for Solicitor General. I'm still gearing up to that. That's tough. So, but I'd be happy to take any questions if anyone has any specifics about what we do in the solicitor's office. Just anything at all. I'd be happy to take any questions. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
What kind of progress have you seen with the domestic violence task force?
You said what kind of progress have we seen with the domestic violence task force? You mean the program that we initiated in our office? So what it has really allowed us to do, we've seen good results. It has allowed us to focus very specific resources on every domestic violence case that comes in. And so the way it works is that we are able to actually, the jail and Sheriff Owens is a partner with us, and that they flag every domestic violence case that comes through so that we know we get that sort of separately when it comes in. We have a prosecutor that reviews each of those cases. They go through, they're able to determine, they get everything that they need to either prosecute or potentially make a diversion offer on that case. We have seen, I think, twofold. The pandemic has led to an increased number of domestic violence cases that have come through. The numbers have sort of leveled off a little bit now. Early in the pandemic, they were definitely increased. But because we have a specific unit that's able to do it, they don't have to worry about they don't have to worry about shoplifting cases. They don't have to worry about traffic tickets. Their specific focus is to get everything that would be necessary to either make the decision to prosecute or refer for diversion, that type of case. And that involves a prosecutor, a victim witness advocate that is specifically assigned to that unit. There's an investigator whose job is to put those files together, get all the documentation that's needed, everything that we need to make that decision. And so we have seen good results. I will say, in addition to that, just to point out, one of the things that I have done, and as it relates to domestic violence, is that the county is in the process of creating a family justice center. And what that is it will be a county-wide sort of meeting place where we can have resources for victims of crime to come in under one roof. What we've learned over the years is that a lot of times when these resources are spread out, depending on where they're located, it makes it very difficult for victims, specifically victims that don't have a lot of resources, that don't have access to vehicles, they don't have access to bus lines, things like that many of us in this room may take for granted. I'm on the executive committee for that. We just announced this week that the official name is the Cobb County Family Advocacy Center. We hope to be operational in December of this year, working with other county partners and things like that, so that we can continue that work as well. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Mr. Johnson, right?
Nope.
Hey, it was Terrence, though. It was Terrence. Yes, sir. I've talked to so many people today. It's good.
No, that's good.
Yes, sir.
Nice to talk to you again, Chris. So, 2 questions.
Yes.
First question is regarding what you just mentioned as far as like the numbers
Yes.
and everything. Just out of curiosity, what is the age group of those numbers? What is the age group that you guys have been helping and making changes out of?
So you, in terms of our record restrictions and things like that?
The question is,
I'll be
what is
honest
the
with you.
age group?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. He asked, what is the age group or kind of the age range for folks that we've been able to help doing record restrictions, expungement work, different things like that in the office. Is that right? To be honest with you, it spans, it starts with 18-year-old kids, and I know for a fact I've literally helped people. I've gotten the thank you notes in the mail later for people as old as in their 70s. That have literally, and that just kind of shows the work, right? I mean, and it doesn't, yes, in the immediate, it's amazing because you can help, especially people that are looking for jobs. People have been turned down for employment. They've been turned down for housing, things like that. We have the opportunity to help those folks. But we also have people that frankly went through their life. They went through, they retired, and there's just something that has kind of stuck with them all these years, that they had this case, that somebody has seen it, it has popped up on a background. And for somebody like that, it can be just as important to help them clear up something on their record as well. And so we've literally run the gamut. On average, I was going to say, if I would look at most commonly, it is probably someone that is from their 20s to their 30s or 40s. People that are in that, they're getting right into work. They're in the middle of their career. They've maybe decided that they want to change jobs. They change jobs, somebody runs a background check, and then all of a sudden a case that they had 10, 15 years ago that nobody thought about pops up on a background check. And it could literally be a case that was dismissed, that is still showing up, that someone sees. It could be a conviction on their record. We worked with the Justice Project 2 years ago. Bill got passed last year. We were talking about it earlier. That now allows 2 lifetime misdemeanor convictions. Certain things are excluded, but allows 2 lifetime misdemeanor convictions to be restricted on your record and sealed. Huge opportunity for people. And we've been able to give that type of relief to people in the companies.
Thank you. Last question. Regarding these opportunities, education, awareness, and things like that, what is the next step, or what is your plan as far as taking this advocacy program and everything you talked about? What are your plans and ideas as far as taking that and educating and put it towards minority communities that possibly need that more?
Absolutely. It's a couple fold. One, we've already started that work with the Cobb County Second Chance Desk.
Repeat the question. Repeat the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. He asked, how are we going to take some of those opportunities and how are we going to get the word out there, specifically in the minority communities and things like that, about the work we're doing and how people they take advantage of those opportunities. It's some of the work has already been started. Last year we started the Cobb County Second Chance Desk. We did PR and press for that. We had a big ribbon cutting ceremony. We partnered with the Justice Project, who's strongly advocating in a lot of those communities to help do that and get the word out on their end. We have to use our social media channels. We have to use things like that. We have already gone with the Second Chance Desk, and we take that out to different community events. I worked the table at Juneteenth with the Second Chance Desk, just to frankly get out and let people know, give them information to do that. But as an elected official and as an elected prosecutor, I'll be the first one to admit what we've seen, and I think it is fantastic, is as an elected prosecutor, you can no longer just sit back, have an election, and simply say that I'm going to come back in 4 years and I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk to people. You can't do that. You have to get out and you have to meet people. You can't play election year politics. You have to be engaged with the community. You have to have wherever events are at that people are going to be at, my office will be at. I will be at. Not just people from my office doing it, me personally, I will be there. I believe in it so much, I've taken the lead. Like I said, every record restriction application that comes through our office, it comes through me. It comes through my desk, and it has for the last 4 years. That's not politics. That's not running a campaign and deciding that that's what I want to do now. That's something that I've been passionate about and I've done for the last 4 years, and I'll continue to do. It's just about getting out there. It's finding specific events where target audiences are at, going, educating them, using social media channels, using things like that to get the word out, because it's important, and we have to do it, and we can't just do it in election years.
Chris.